In this video, we're going to show you how to replace your fuel tank pressure sensor. It's located on your fuel tank, on your Ford Explorer. On the front side of the engine right here, you're going to find a fuel Schrader valve. This is on the fuel line here. I'm going to reach down and unscrew this little cap. Wearing safety glasses, you want to go ahead, run some towels down around here. I want to go ahead and depress this center right here. We're going to use a tool to push down in the center and push down and release any fuel pressure that might be in that line at that point here. You might get a little mist of fuel coming out of there, but at this point here, we don't have any fuel pressure in our fuel line. Once you're all set, go ahead and install that cap again. Locate the notch on the top of the wheel here behind your center cap. Use your pry tool. Gently pry outward and remove your center cap. Using your 19mm socket, go ahead and loosen and remove the nuts. Go ahead and grab that wheel. Remove it from the vehicle and set it aside. Now before removing your bolts on your skid plate, you want to go ahead and get some sort of jack or something underneath to support the shield. It is heavy, it's a little complicated to handle as a one-person deal, and you don't want to drop this on you. So we went ahead and put a jack underneath this here. Let's go ahead and remove our bolts. We're going to remove these two bolts holding the front side of our gas tank skid plate. Prior to doing this here, we did soak these down liberally with a lot of rust penetrant. On the back side, right on the bottom side of the frame rail behind your back wheel, you're going to find this bolt right here. Go ahead and lower your jack. There's a tab right here up underneath this brace here supporting the front part of the gas tank shield here. On the front side here, we have two 18mm bolts. Before you remove these here, make sure that you reposition your gas tank jack underneath the vehicle. Loosen and remove these. In order to get this bolt out, we did go ahead and pop off the little retaining clip right here to get a better shot at this. Strap down. Using our 1/4-inch socket, we want to go ahead and loosen these clamps holding our fuel lines to the tank. I'm going to go ahead and loosen that hose clamp around there. And a little bit of effort, twisting and back and forth and pulling it will eventually get these off. And at this point here, we're going to slowly lower our tank down. We want to go ahead and expose the fuel lines on the top. We want to go ahead and disconnect those before we drop the tank too far. But now we can go ahead and slowly lower this down a little bit at a time, giving us access to those lines. And we have a harness connector right here that is pressed into the inside of our frame right here. There's a little plastic locking tab here. I'm going to go ahead and tap these tabs That should give us a little bit of room to use our trim tool. Here to go ahead and pull this out. Now that we have this harness free, I'm going to go ahead and disconnect it. There's a little lock tab right here. Got to push that in and wiggle this connector. Now I'm going to use a flathead screwdriver. I'm going to push in on this little tab. I'm going to gently pry. This connector has been stuck together since 1997 on our vehicle, so it was a little stuck. So now that we have that disconnected, we're going to go on over to our fuel line right here. There's a little metal retainer clip that assists in this line locking in. Flathead screwdriver, just going to go in here. I'm going to lift up on the clip side that is on the external line connection. This is going to pry up. And there's a locking clip, so we're going to pop that off like so. We have a line right here coming through. There's a little plastic locking collar here. We're going to pinch these two sides, and then we're going to push in and then pull out. I'm going to push in just to try and break some of the corrosion a little bit. Pop that off like that. Now right here we have one of those special tools here. It actually releases the lock collar on the inside of our fuel lines here. You're going to want to have these available. What you do is you slip it over. So I do this one here. Slip it over the line, push it back into the line. I'm going to try and pop this one off here. Okay. We do have a little bit of residual fuel coming out of there. I'll go ahead and get that other line here. There's our second line. We'll pull off our clip. With everything disconnected, we can now lower the tank. I want to disconnect this connector off of our fuel tank pressure sensor here. I'm going to press down on this little tab here. I'm going to go ahead and use a screwdriver here to gently work that off and separate that like so. I'm going to turn this counterclockwise. I'm going to use a pair of pliers here. You can try it by hand, but ours is stuck in there. So just going to gently grab this here with some assistance and go ahead and turn this counterclockwise. Once you twist that out, you're going to have that unit right there. I'm going to go ahead and install this unit. Press it in. Once you get that sensor pushed in, you turn it clockwise and it'll lock into place. Go ahead and install your harness. Snap it in. I'm going to go ahead and push the front side of our tank up and in. Raise up the back half. Press that fuel line on. You can hear it and feel it lock into position. Press this clip back on. Let's go ahead and get this bolt started here. Let's go ahead and work our hoses back onto the tank. And once those are fully seated, we're going to go ahead and tighten down those clamps. Just go ahead and feed our skid plate up and in. What I want to do is grab the two front bolts and at least get those started by hand. Just gonna loosen this just a tad. I want to make sure we can get the two back bolts lined up and installed first, and then we'll come back and tighten all four of them down. Once that's all set, I'm going to remove our jack, lower the vehicle down, put the back wheel on, and you're all set. Go ahead, grab your wheel, get that installed, get our lug nuts put on. I'm going to start these all by hand, get them started a few threads. Once all of these are on, we're going to go ahead and snug them down. Go ahead and torque down our driver's side rear wheel here to 100 foot-pounds. And go ahead and install your center cap. You're all set.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.